My name is Desange Kuenihira. I'm originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I was born in Congo but raised in Uganda. And this is my story. Education is the one thing no one can ever take away from you. Education gives you the knowledge which you store in your mind, whether you realize it or not, even when you're not necessarily open to it. Other people plant ideas in your mind your whole life. Education is yours. It is your chance to fill your mind. To me, being educated is not just learning new information. It is for my central worth and my survival. As a child, I was told over and over that I was worthless and meaningless. It is only through education and the opportunity that have come through education that I have learned to focus on the positive voice inside of me and ignore the negative things that other people have said about me. I am a Congolese refugee who grew up in a refugee camp. In 2003, our war broke up in Congo. Not too long after that, when I was 2, the rest of my family fled to Uganda. We were 6 in total: my little sister, who was a baby, my twin brother and I, my older sister, and my 2 brothers. One was 16 and the other was 18. In the refugee camp in Uganda, which was called Chakatu, we were given 1 bedroom, a house with a tent as a roof. If someone got sick, everyone would get sick. There was no way to avoid it. The refugee officers gave us food for 1 month. It would not even last 3 weeks. Life there was not easy. People did not like us because of who we were. Other kids would say we killed their parents because we are mixed blood. My mother is Mulendu and my father is Mulendu. They came from 2 warring tribes. The conflict started in 1999 to 2003. Even today, these tribes are still in conflict. Growing up in a village, seeing other kids going to school where I was not able to attend, I never thought I would get an education. I was told that because I was just a girl and I would not have any value in my life, rather than a diary that someone would pay to marry me, that it would be pointless to educate me. Other people in my village said that I would never even get a high school diploma. Because I was a refugee who did not have any meaning, I was a girl with no value. I started believing in what other people said about me. Other people's ideas were taking space in my mind. When we lived in the refugee camp in Uganda, I would always fail my classes in parts because of what other people said about me. The way they treated me, I started believing what they said, which created fear that held me back. I did not even try in school back then. After 5 years of living in the refugee camp, our house was burned down, and the refugee officers moved us to the big city of Uganda, which is Kampala. We lost everything in the house. It made me feel more helpless. It made me feel no matter where I'll go, I'll never find peace. Living in the big city of Uganda, let's go harder. The Office of Refugee paid for housing for 2 years, and after that, we got kicked out of the house. We started sleeping in people's containers, like the containers that they use to tracking or shipping. Sleeping in a container made me worry a lot because our life was online. If the owner of the container found us there, they would kill us. We would have to wake up at 4 a.m. to leave the container before they started working. After 7 years of living in the refugee camp in Uganda, we finally came to America. I was only 13 years old. The process of coming to America is a very long one. We waited for 7 years, but some other people waited for 30 years. And some people who I was with in the refugee camp are still there even today. The process involving interviews after interviews with American immigration. After you do an interview, you may wait for another year to do another one. And if you're family and you are lucky, you may do 1 or 2 interviews in 3 years. But some families will do 0. Coming to United States was a dream come true. I did not believe it until I was on the plane. It took us 3 days to get in Utah. my family and I got to Utah October the 17th in 2014 at 12 p.m. At the airport, my two sisters and my twin brother and I were going to live with a family, and we were both in foster care. My two older brothers and my aunt were going to live alone. We went our separate ways at the airport. This was so scary because I could not imagine my life without my aunt. She had been there for me since day one. She was the only person I knew and trusted and relied on. Someone I knew would take a bullet for me. I felt safe with her. And the people we were going to live with, I knew nothing about. I did not know if they would truly protect me with all their hearts, or if they would take us in for money. They took us home, here in Harriman. There were no black people and only white. In fact, it was very rare to see a black person. It made me feel alone, and I missed my culture. When we went to the house where we were staying, we learned a lot of things. Garage doors opening themselves, dishes being washed by a machine. We lived in a place where kids loved to come and play with us, where in the evening people gathered outside riding bikes and talking and taking small walks. We tried new food. I found out that I did not like sandwiches. After today, I don't like sandwiches. I did love chicken nuggets from McDonald's though, but I grew out of them. I still struggle with American food. I also hated snow after today, but I'm open-minded about it now. As you may imagine, it was hard to get used to new food, living with new and different people and new culture. We struggled to balance two cultures, knowing when to use what we were learning as American culture and when it was okay to use the African culture. Practicing my own culture was very important to me, and it's still important to me because that's who I am. Throwing that away, I'd be throwing myself away. Luckily, we were able to visit my aunt and my brothers on the weekends. In our new home, it felt like me and my siblings were from a different planet that were being shown off. I had so many questions. Could not be asked. I was only 13 years old. Maybe I needed to prove that our new home, I knew mom and dad would protect me like their own, and they would fight for me and like my blood parents would. I was wrong on many things. Unfortunately, our new family did not know much about us or our culture, and they did not ask a lot of questions. They wanted us to become a part of the culture, and please do not forget that all this time in the back of my mind, I was wondering if I was just a meaningless girl. After 6 months with this family, my older sister, my twin brother, and I ran away. After school one day, we did not go home. We rode the tracks to the station, got out and called the police from there. We told them we could not live with this family, that we wanted to live with our aunts and brothers. We thought they could help, but here the system, all the parts within, they work together. They use internet to try to find where we belong, and they returned us to our family. We were taken to the CCS office. Our family was mad at us. I felt like I was a property instead of a human being with feelings, questions, and needs. It reminded me of being back home in Uganda when I was scared all the time. I was labeled as a bad one, as the ringleader, rebellious one of the siblings, which added to my intention of being a meaningless girl. Running away was the best thing, although after running away, we were all separated and put in different families. We visited my two older brothers and my aunt in Saturday of the family. My older sister, my young sister, were living in West Valley. My twin brother lived in Draper, and I lived in St. Douglas Springs. After living with the second family for 3 months, my aunt and my older brother worked within the system to become foster parents, and we all were able to move in with them. When I came to America, I began doing well in school. Apart because I left the toxic environment in the refugee camp, but also because I learned to listen to the voice inside me, my own voice telling me that I can do it, rather than hearing other people's voice. Learning English was hard, but I had the desire and I was excited for the first time about education. My motivation and excitement made it easier in many ways. Here in America, I was able to begin reaching my educational goals. I started in 8th grade while I was resettled in Utah. I'm proud of the fact that I received 4.0 GPA in my first year in the United States as my first year attending school and speaking English. I could really see how my hard work paid off and how building myself up rather than tearing myself down would lead to good results. Here in America, I got tired of people telling me that I'm meaningless or bad, and so I started changing. I started dreaming and dreaming bigger. I read the book Life Without Limitation by Nick Virginia. But a boy with no legs or hands learned how the author was able to push past the obstacles in his life to achieve his dreams. He also taught me it's okay to feel down sometimes, but then take the sadness and turn it to an action. I learned that I do have meaning, that I can do anything that the boys can do, and I deserve the same opportunity that they have. I enjoy learning how to create opportunities for other people. I enjoy learning about people's point of view because we all view the world in different ways. With my education, the goal is to go back home and share the knowledge that I have gained with the people like me, create opportunity for girls, and end child marriage in Uganda. Today, I'm pushing more and getting more educated. I'm pushing past those places that other people said I would never reach. I'm on track getting my degrees, and now that I have the opportunity to get educated, I am able to challenge myself in many ways that's possible. In my life, all I want is education. Even when bad things happen, no one can take your education away from you. Because of my childhood as a refugee, I have many things taken away from me in my life, but no one can ever take away my brain. It will help me achieve my goals and reach even higher than I can currently imagine. I am no longer a meaningless girl, but I'm much more.